What's going on, everybody? Tom here with Black Sheep Keto, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rebuild and Refocus series. Now, I know I missed an upload last week, and if you watched the previous video, you'll know that it's because I was on vacation, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that later in the video. But today's video, if you didn't guess by reading the title, is going to be pretty much all about fasting. Now, I am at the current moment 120 hours fasted. That is 5 whole days. And I'm actually feeling quite great, not really hungry at all, and my energy levels have been pretty stable. But I'm going to go through this video and kind of take you along through my day with me and probably over the next couple of days. And intermittently, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I fast, why I fast, just various things like that. But since I am currently 120 hours fasted, I think I'm going to start this video by talking about how to break an extended fast, because I see a lot of different things on the internet and I've tried pretty much all of them, and finally I came up with something that works for me. Whether or not that works for you, should you decide to fast, I'm not encouraging anyone to do it, but should you decide to, and this works for you, hey, awesome. If not, I'm just going to share with you guys what works for me. Now, first things first, I am going to go ahead and take a probiotic as the first thing since I started my fast. So I just have a basic probiotic here, and this kind of, I feel, just warms up my gut a little bit, gets a little bit more bacteria in there, and kind of helps me not have diarrhea, stomach issues, things like that as I come out of this fast. If just controlling what you're eating and choosing the right foods isn't enough, sometimes taking a probiotic can definitely help. Now, I am going to share the results of my fast in terms of weight loss and a couple other metrics later on in the video, but while that probiotic is digesting, I think I'm going to do a blood ketone reading because I think it'd be interesting to see what my ketone levels are at in a 120-hour fast, right? So let me get that equipment real quick and let's check my blood ketone levels. Now, I am going to be using the Keto Coach for this test, so let's go ahead and stab myself and see what the ketone levels look like. Now, this morning when I tested, I was like 3.8, which is actually pretty high. I'm usually like the 1.5, 1.7 range. Hopefully you all can see that. I actually like the Keto Coach because it shows up on camera well. So I'm really just hoping that it's showing up well right now. You guys will probably know before me. Let's see what this is. 4.1. So I'm getting a blood ketone reading of 4.1 after a 120-hour fast. That's actually one of the higher readings that I've ever really had from a blood meter. The urine strips, you'll get high readings, but it's not accurate. These blood meters are super accurate, and yeah, 4.1, that's pretty awesome. Realistically, yeah, that is high for nutritional ketosis, and that is strictly because I've been fasted for 120 hours. Don't aim for a number that high if you're just like normal eating or even intermittent fasting. That's totally unrealistic. This is just because I've been fasted that long. So now I think it is time to go with our first meal of the day, week, whatever you want to call it. Now, a lot of people, you'll see all sorts of recommendations about what to eat when you break a fast. And what I have found for me personally, going the vegetables route isn't right for me. Broth really does nothing for me. It doesn't help or hurt it. So what I like to go with when I first break a fast, especially a long one like this, is just some simple eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and fry up 2 eggs and kind of hit them with some salt and pepper. Keep it very simple. And as soon as those are in my stomach, I'm going to start cooking up some chicken. Now, I have a chicken half in the refrigerator, and I'm not a huge proponent of chicken on keto. But the thing I like about it is it's relatively low in fat and high in protein, and that is totally not what I want on keto generally. I will boost the fats a little bit with some of my white barbecue sauce, which I'll link in the card right now. But the thing that I like about going with chicken initially is when I go too high fat after breaking a fast, it really messes with my digestive system. So I like to kind of go with things that are, obviously I want to keep it keto, so carbs are out. So really the last thing to go with is proteins and a little bit of fat. So I'll go with the chicken with a little bit of fat in it, and depending how I'm feeling, that may be my last meal today, and tomorrow I'll go back into my higher fat diet. But the whole point of this is I know high fat messes with my digestive system when I just come out of a fast and go straight for it. So I'm trying to keep that fat down just a little bit, and tomorrow we'll resume the high fat diet. So I'm gonna get those eggs cooked up, and then I'll catch up with you guys in just a minute. All right, guys, I have 2 over easy eggs right here, which is a little bit of salt and pepper on them. And that is going to be my first meal. I'm very excited for this, so let's go ahead and give it a bite. Cheers. Now, one of my favorite things about going on these extended fasts is even food that you're tired of, that you eat all the time, suddenly just tastes absolutely amazing. So these eggs are perfectly delicious. Now, before I go through and devour those completely, a couple of things I want to mention about breaking a fast as well. I've made this mistake in the past. It's super tempting to just go ham and eat a massive meal. That also screws with my stomach and causes a massive weight rebound for me. So my body just tries to store it all. So I find that keeping the calories light immediately after you break your fast is usually the best option. And I also try to avoid things like broccoli and a lot of those green vegetables that we like on keto. Those tend to mess with my stomach a little bit. So I'm literally almost gonna do like a carnivore thing here as I break this. So I'm eating these eggs now. I'll put a picture of the chicken right now. I don't think there's any need to show you guys me throwing some of my chicken rub on there. I'll put that rub in the card. But I'm basically just gonna throw a little bit of that chicken dry rub on my chicken half and then put it out on the smoker at 350 for like an hour, hour and a half till it reaches a safe temperature. And then that'll be served with a little bit of that white barbecue sauce to get a little bit of fat in there. But again, I'm keeping it light and I'm doing that on purpose to avoid a crazy weight rebound and any gastrointestinal issues that could happen from breaking a fast in different ways. So now that the kind of how to break your fast and how I'm breaking my fast portion is done, I'm probably just gonna cut over to more than likely tomorrow. No sense showing you guys me eating my second meal. The first meal and that first bite I think was the most important part. But let's cut over to, I guess, tomorrow and we'll talk a little bit more about everything else that's going on. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I fast and why I was doing it. I hope you guys don't mind me shooting outside here. It's a nice day out and I kind of wanted a change of scenery. There's really only like 2 or 3 places in my house I can film, so figured I'd change it up just a little bit. So to start, how was I doing this fast? Well, I typically believe in just doing like a water fast. So what that means is I will drink water, green tea, maybe black tea, whatever, but unsweetened, coffee, unsweetened, maybe some carbonated water like LaCroix, that kind of stuff. Basically 0 calories, and I did this for 120 hours. Now, I will talk a little bit about the results that I got a little bit later, but this was kind of just focusing on how I did it and why. So now that you guys kind of know the type of fast that I was doing, let's talk about the why. So I actually just got back from vacation when I started this, and for me that is a good opportunity to refocus, which is one of the points of this series, you know, rebuild and refocus. So I find that when I come back from something or when I'm trying to focus in on my diet, if I just do a quick fast like that, it really helps me kind of get in that mindset. You know, it takes some actual mental strength to be able to perform that kind of a fast. So for me, it kind of really helps me get in the zone, and I absolutely love that. Additionally, sometimes I'll do it if my stomach's not feeling great, like if I'm having issues with certain foods, or, you know, gastrointestinal problems. Sometimes fasting gives my stomach a break and lets that kind of clear up a bit. And also it puts me in a really deep state of ketosis, which I find jumpstarts my weight loss for several weeks following. Again, I'll get to the results later, but even after I come off of my fast, I still notice a pretty significant downtrend in weight. There's a slight rebound maybe the day or two after, but if you do it right, it's very slight. So for me, those are kind of the reasons why I fast, mostly to refocus, sometimes for like general health reasons, but also it's kind of just like helps me lose a little bit more weight. And yes, you do lose some weight during the fast, but I wouldn't fast for that reason specifically, because that kind of starts feeling more like an eating disorder than as a controlled like process, if that makes sense. And once again, I am not recommending that anybody does that. It is a little bit crazy, but for me, you know, it's something that I like to do and I'm gonna continue to do it occasionally. It is a very rare thing. But with that, you guys can't see it, the smoker is actually right behind you. I've got to get that booted up because I'm making brisket for dinner, and that's basically gonna be my meal prep for the week. I'm gonna do about a 20-pound brisket, and that'll last me basically dinner and maybe some lunches depending on how my eating schedule looks this week. It'll last me basically the whole week, which is kind of a great way just to get it all done in one shot, and then I don't have to think about it. I know what my meals are gonna be, I know what the macros are gonna be, and really gives me time to experiment. And now that the AC unit has kicked on, I'm gonna go ahead and run that other clip. since this is a vlog, and we've talked a bit about fasting and some of my meal prep for the week that I'm doing for our dinners, which is that brisket that you guys saw a minute ago. I want to show you something that Olivia's been really into, and we found these at our local grocery store. They are these Hillshire snacking packs, and it's basically just cheese, almonds, and some various types of meats in there. Unfortunately, these are like $3 or $3.50 per pack, and I think that's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. Now, it's a great idea to have this kind of stuff prepackaged, but we started looking around, and as it turns out, I can get like a massive log of the hard salami or summer sausages for, $6 to $8 for like a foot of it. Cheese is obviously pretty inexpensive, and so are almonds when you buy them in bulk. So I think for about $25, we could make the equivalent of like 30 of these packs, whereas these are like $3 or $3.50 each. So I really do like the idea of having, these little like pre-made lunch snacks or things to take with you to work, something that could just be in the fridge, grab and go. But I hate that the markup on these is so insane. It's probably just because you're paying for all this plastic as opposed to the actual ingredients. There's hardly any cheese, hardly any almonds. The biggest thing is the sausage, and that's not even that expensive. So we're actually gonna go ahead and make some of these real quick, as you're seeing on the camera now. So there's like a couple different types of sausage we have here. We have a summer sausage and an Italian hard salami. And then there's a couple different cheeses. There's like a 3-pepper Colby and a Monterey Jack. Now, the ones in that little blister pack, we're using Gouda. We could have done Gouda, but really just grab whatever you want. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get these like tiny little containers that we have from basically just a Tupperware set that are too small to really use for anything. And we're just gonna pile everything in there all nice and together and just grab one of them out the door. That way, A, we're saving some plastic, and B, it's basically the same thing for like a third of the cost. So hopefully that's kind of a cool little tip that I can share with you guys. This is a great idea, but I really don't like the cost, and it's not really cost effective if you can do it yourself, and it takes like 5 minutes of knife work to make like a whole week's worth of kind of snack / meal prep for both of us. So that's what we're doing. If anyone finds that useful, please go ahead and use it. What is up, everybody? It is about 6:15 now, which means it is dinner time. So what I've got on my plate right here, I've got about 12.5 ounces of the brisket that we made. This is some flat here and some point underneath it. About 2 ounces of cheese, a couple slices of onion, some pickles, and one of these guys. Now this is a jalapeno cheddar biscuit, and if you looked at one of the previous clips, you can probably see a mountain of failures on the counter behind me. It's actually right here, just out of the shot. Hopefully that gives you guys an idea on the amount that I actually fail when I'm trying to make things. But these jalapeno cheddar biscuits are what's gonna be coming out for the recipe this next week, and absolutely delicious. And of course, there will be a vegetable being served with this. It's just not on there because I'm not really ready to share what that is yet. I will say it is a cauliflower dish. It is something that I'm working on releasing for you guys, and it will probably be out in 2 weeks from now, but the recipe is not perfect. It's a little bit too sweet. Sweet cauliflower dish, you may be asking? I know you're curious. Hit the subscribe button and you'll find out here in the coming weeks. And I almost forgot, I was gonna talk about the results of my fast before we close out the video. So yes, there are some definite weight loss benefits to fasting, in addition to kind of various other things, but one of the trackable metrics is blood ketones and weight. So you guys saw when I finished this, my blood ketones were at like 4.1. That's actually a very deep state of ketosis, and I find that that really jumpstarts the weight loss process. But how much weight did I lose not eating for 5 days? The answer is 120 pounds. Okay, I'm totally kidding. It was 14 pounds, guys. Realistically, a lot of that is weight. That is not fat. So let's not confuse the fact that losing weight and losing fat are two very different things. My body is going to basically have flushed out all of the food in it. Any glycogen in my muscles that had been built up is completely gone, being in that deep of a state of ketosis. I wasn't taking creatine or anything like that in that period, so there's no like water buildup in my muscles. So that 14 pounds, yes, it sounds impressive. It's like, oh, I want to do that all the time. First of all, don't. It's a bad idea. Second of all, it's not really what you think it is. Now, at the end of the day, when I did end my fast, I rebounded about half a pound. It was like 0.4 pounds. Nothing crazy right there. And I'm just kind of slowly reintroducing food. So the other day, I just had some chicken to break the fast. Now I'm really getting kind of back on track with it. And I'm keeping my meals very simple, as you can see from, what I've got going on. Basically, for the rest of the week, that is my meal prep for the week. Very simple, very easy, and kind of gonna make sure that I keep in that deep state of ketosis. So yes, I did lose a significant amount of weight, but please don't go fasting for that reason. In fact, I don't recommend you do this at all without talking to your doctor. Just for legal reasons, I have to say that. But in any case, be careful. So I hope that I have answered all of your questions about this fast, why I did it, how I did it, what were my results, all that fun stuff. If I forgot to mention something, let me know down in the comment section. I'll make sure I answer your guys' questions. If you like this video, leave it a like. Anything like that, go ahead and leave in the comment section. And if you have not subscribed yet, do me a huge favor, guys. Hit that subscribe button, show some love, and I will see you in the next one.